Yay. Are we ready? And you can hear me and stuff okay?
We can hear you. We are ready.
You
Stacy is
are.
going to guide us through some yoga today.
Yay. Mm. Hello, friends. I just realized there's one little thing that's not. Hi, Camilla. Hi, Colleen. Something's not off on my thing because it's. Hello, Deb. My mom's name was Deb. That's a special name to me. Well, we're gonna do what we can do. Hopefully, we're not gonna have any interruptions because now it's too late for me to figure it all out. It's one of those mornings. If we haven't met before, my name is Stacy, and I have the absolute pleasure, the joy, the privilege, the honor of guiding us through a yoga practice. Yoga has different modalities, and different modalities do different things. And I thought today what we would work on is a little bit of strength building. As always, you're going to do what feels best for your body. Less is more, right? Just meet yourself where you're at. I'm going to offer some, what are those things called? Some options, and we'll just kind of build up. So if we're building up, you can always go back to the smaller option. Like there's no judgment in yoga. That's exactly what you're supposed to do. Listen to your body. Sometimes the mind speaks louder than the body, and you just have to make a decision. Is the mind speaking in a way that is beneficial, or is it more ego driven? So if you feel like it's more of a competitive nature, that probably isn't what you should do. Instead, again, kind of back to that less is more. If it's in a way that it's kind of feeling empowering and it's encouraging to you, in that case, go ahead and explore as necessary. As always, if you have a block for your mat, that is beautiful. It just brings the earth a little bit closer. And I think that's it. So let's begin. Let's start just by maybe standing up, maybe lifting the heels, maybe rocking back and forth, maybe swaying the arms or moving the head. Just taking a couple of deep breaths in and a couple of deep breaths out, and start to allow anything that's weighing on you to literally drip off of you. Let the earth receive it. Anything that you let go of, you can go back and pick up at the end of our time together if that's what serves you. If you feel like you need to let it go forever for the rest of this day, do that as well. I absolutely want to bless that for you. We're just starting to take a couple of moments here just to quiet down the mind and start to just ease into the body, giving yourself permission just to fully arrive. Just noticing what you notice. I don't know about you, but my mind is so distracted. I've got so many things going on right now that it just feels like I'm running a million miles a minute. I know that that's a lot of us kind of live in that space. So it's really important to take time to just kind of let some things go. Give yourself permission just to show up for yourself, and giving yourself permission to make yourself the priority. I know this is true for men and for women, but we carry so many responsibilities. A lot of times we just put things in front of us, like leaving our priorities as the lowest. But let this be like me preaching from the rooftops. You cannot give to other people unless you fill your own battery. Like, you know that saying. So just really give yourself time to just kind of re-energize yourself, give to yourself, and then you have more to give later to other people. When you feel ready, no rush, we're just going to come to a space of stillness. Let's start by letting our feet be a little wider than hip distance apart. We're not trying to feel some sort of stretch in the thighs or in the inner thighs. Instead, we just want to feel like we're pretty balanced here. And then maybe just gently rock your hips to the right and to the left. If you want to build on that, maybe you gently turn your gaze towards the direction that your hips are pointing towards. And if you want to go a little bit further than that, that, maybe start to attach some breath. On your inhale, you would come to a neutral position. On the exhale, you would press the hips, maybe turn the head away. I'm just going to do that for just a moment. Don't rush through the breath. Really slow the breath here. When you're ready, come back to a neutral position. On your inhale, let's sweep our arms all the way up towards the sky. And then on our exhale, let's just swan dive our arms. That means the arms are coming out to the sides. We're going to hinge at the hips and we're going to bring the hands down. This is a great opportunity that if you had a block, you would bring a block underneath the hands just to bring the earth closer. And then on your next inhale, let's come to that halfway lift. Come to your fingertips. What we're looking for essentially is just kind of a flat back. And then on your exhale, you're going to fold just a little bit further. Maybe look towards the wall behind you, maybe not. When you're ready, bend your knees, bring yourself all the way back up. Head's the last thing to arrive. Bring those arms back up. On your exhale, again, we're going to fold. We're just going to do this wide leg fold and half lift and upright salutation. We're just going to do this, just kind of moving slowly. Inhale, you'll halfway lift. Exhale, your fold. Inhale, roll all the way back up. Bring those arms up. Lift the chin. That helps all the blood come back down. Exhale, fold. Take your time. This time when you've come to your fold, even if your hands are on the block, we're going to walk the hands over towards the outside of that right foot. Doesn't have to be completely over there. We're just finding a little side stretch. And then when you feel ready, inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, move over to that left side. Inhale, come back to neutral, bend those knees. Inhale, rise all the way back up. And this time on our exhale, we'll let our toes point out towards the corners of the mat. We're going to squat down, practicing the arms. And I just want you to bring your shoulder blades a little closer together. You're going to feel this quite a bit now, whereas before we're having more of a passive motion. Now we're having more of an active motion. Try to think about the shoulders stacking right over the hips. Most likely shoulders want to come forward, but try to stack them. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, you're going to squat back down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, squat. Once more, inhale, reach. Exhale, squat. From here, take those hands onto your thighs. We're going to take our right shoulder on our next exhale, and we're just going to press that shoulder towards that left thigh. Maybe look towards that back left elbow or that wall behind you. And then when you feel ready, inhale, come back up to neutral. Exhale, we're going to press the left shoulder towards the right thigh. Inhale, come back up to neutral. From here, make your way back up to your standing position. And then from here, inhale, bring both arms up. On your exhale, take your left hand down to your side. Just gently side stretch towards the left side. So you're stretching the right side of the body. And just notice, does this feel different, better, worse, whatever it might be than our traditional having the legs together? Maybe we turn that lifted thumb towards the sky. That's just going to deepen that stretch. Maybe looking down at our left foot. Or if you want a deeper stretch, you're going to look up towards the ceiling. You make that decision. When you're ready, inhale, just opposite, it's gonna happen. Bring up that left arm, exhale, bring down that right arm, start to side stretch. Give yourself a moment, we're in no rush. Maybe we turn that thumb towards the sky. Maybe we look towards the ceiling, maybe we don't. Listen to this side of the body. When you're ready, we're gonna bring both arms all the way back up. On your exhale, squat down. From here, let's take our hands together, palms together. Maybe fold the fingers over one another, crossing the thumbs. Shoulder blades come together. Again, we're gonna bring shoulders right over our hips. Maybe we're gonna bring our hips down a little bit more. Maybe we're not. You're gonna listen to your body. Now I want you to think about this meridian line, this invisible line, and this is where our center is gonna be. So I want you to think about that invisible line from the top of your head all the way down to the mat as though you were standing with feet together. So just this long line right down the torso, but it's gonna travel down even where that open space is to the ground. From here, I want you to press right side and left side together. You're gonna feel a little stronger here. Now, if you'd like, we're gonna do 3 things here. You can stay in this position for all 3, or if you'd like to go a little bit further, we're gonna lift up our left heel. And you're gonna remember to breathe. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Bring that heel down, inhale, reach up. Exhale, squat down. Same thing, palms together, fingers cross over, thumbs are crossed. Staying here, bringing shoulders over the hips. Hips come down maybe a little bit further. We're gonna lift up that right heel. Heels can stay on the ground. You don't have to lift it. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Drop that heel. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, squat down. Palms come together, shoulder blades together. Shoulders are right over the hips. You can bring those hips down if you'd like. Stay right here. If you want a further challenge, you're going to lift both heels off of the earth. You don't have to do that. We're here for 3, 4, 2, 4, 1. Drop those heels. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, we're going to swan dive those arms. We're going to hinge at our hips. We're going to watch the wall in front of us, then gaze comes to the ground, hands come down to the ground or to a block, and then gaze goes towards the wall behind us. Next inhale, halfway lift, nice flat back. Exhale, fold. From here, maybe we take hands towards the outsides of the feet. Maybe hands come towards the ankles. On your inhale, nice flat back. Exhale, maybe you press yourself into a fold a little bit more. Maybe you don't. And then from here, let's bring our hands back onto the earth. From here, maybe nod the head yes. You can bend the knees here. Maybe nod the head no, whichever feels better. When you feel ready, we're going to bend those knees. We're going to roll all the way back up. Head's going to lift, and then we're going to bring those arms up. Exhale, bring your hands down to your sides. From here, let's move right into a warrior 2. We're going to take this left foot, we're going to bring it to a 90-degree angle. So that means that the toes are pointed directly towards the wall in front of you. Heel is pointed towards the wall behind you. Now this right foot, couple of options. You can stay right where you are and just bring that heel in and then adjust those toes so they're pointed towards this right wall. Or if you feel like I've got a little bit more give here, you can heel toe that foot a little bit further just so that the heels and the heel and the arch are a little further apart. For me, that's what's going to work best, so you do what feels best for you. We are going to look down at our feet. We do want this front right heel should be in line with this left arch or that left heel, one or the other. From here, we're going to bend this front right knee. Knee is going to stack over the ankle, so we should see all of our toes. And then from here, like we were just doing, think about rolling the shoulder blades together. I want you to engage your core. Let that lower belly lift into your belly button. And then from here, arms are going to come to T shape. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, drop them down like you're putting them in your back pocket. Finally, we're gonna look over these front right fingertips, and all we're gonna do is breathe, feeling strong in your warrior. Take another breath in. On your exhale, maybe we bring the hips down just a little bit further. We're not trying to plunge that front knee too far in front of that foot. We're just bringing the hips down just a little bit. You're going to feel a little bit more engaged here. Now from here, on your next inhale, we're going to straighten that front knee and bring the fingertips together. On the exhale, we're going to make our way back into the warrior two, again looking past those front right fingertips. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Inhale up. Exhale, release. From here, let's find a reverse warrior. Take that back left arm, maybe wrap it around the back of your body, taking those fingertips towards that front of that right hip. That front knee is still going to be stacked over that ankle. And then we're going to lift that right arm up. And then you can decide, am I going to look up to the sky? Am I going to look down? Am I looking at that wall where my left toes are pointed? You decide. And then on your next exhale, mindfully make your way back into warrior two, doing all of the things. From here, we're going to make our way into a triangle pose. Inhale, straighten that bottom leg, but we're not locking the knee. We're just straightening it. From here, sometimes if you're newer to yoga, you'll hear somebody say, like, kick this left hip out. That's just going to give you a deeper reach. You can do that if that feels like, oh, suddenly that's making something a little bit more accessible. But in general, that's not really a good cue, but you do what feels best for you. Now, just like we reversed our warrior, we're just going to do the same thing except for the opposite direction. We're going to take the left arm up and the right arm is going to come down. Whatever you do, don't place your hand on your knee. You don't need to do that. You can have palms just facing away from one another, where that hand maybe is just in front of that thigh. Wherever you're at, what I want you to think about is this top left shoulder stacking over the right shoulder. So sometimes this left arm wants to kind of come forward. I would rather you bring your hand down to your hip and think about this top left shoulder just stacking over the right shoulder. So whatever feels best to you. And then additionally, depending on range of motion, maybe this hand comes down to the earth or to a block. You're going to do what feels best for you here. And then if you want even more sensation, you're going to turn the head towards that lifted thumb, looking up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to reverse our triangle. Take this lifted arm, go ahead, bring it back to the bind, and then we're going to lift up that right arm up and over just like we did in reverse warrior, but just we're in triangle legs. From here back to warrior two. T-shaped arms, we're going to bend that front knee. We're going to look towards those right fingertips. All we're doing is breathing. We're going to come into extended side angle. Just kind of a natural progression, staying in this warrior two type body. We're going to take this front right arm. We're going to gently bring that forearm to that right thigh, and then this lifted left arm. Couple of options. One is just start to bring that lifted left bicep in line with the ear. If you feel like that doesn't feel very accessible, sometimes it's easier to take that left arm, swoop it across the front of the body, and then bring it up. So whatever feels best to you. Now, if you brought that left bicep in line with the ear, your palms might be kind of pointing towards the ceiling. turn the palm so that it's facing the wall behind you and bring that thumb up. That's just going to deepen that. What we want is an extended side angle. We want like an angle, right? Like that's what's in there. We want from the point of our left fingertip down to that left heel to be one line that we're stretching that side of the body. This front right arm, no weight if possible on that thigh. Really, it's like, oh, you can move that arm around if you needed to, because all of the sensation should be on this left side of the body. Now, if you want to go even a little bit further than here, option is to turn the heart. Right now, the heart's probably pointing towards where the wall and the two walls meet. Instead, turn the heart up towards the sky, and again, maybe look up towards the ceiling. Again, not necessary. When you're ready, on your next exhale, you're going to mindfully make your way back into Warrior Two. And then we're going to come into one final reverse your warrior. Bring that right arm up and over. Left arm maybe comes down, maybe reps for what's called that bind. It's where you bring those fingertips towards that front hip. And then when you're ready, make your way back, Warrior Two arms. We're just going to bring those feet back together, kind of like how we started. Maybe there's a little bit more width than when we started. Maybe there's not. Just meet yourself where you're at. When you're ready, on your inhale, arms reach up. On your exhale, we're going to fold forward. We're going to hinge at the hips, bring the hands down, and then look towards the wall behind us. Relax that head. When you're ready, on your next inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. From here, bend your knees, gently roll all the way back up, bring those arms up as well, look up. On your exhale, bring your hands down to your sides. We're going to do those same things with the Warrior Two type body, just facing the opposite direction. So let's start with that right foot. We're going to line those toes up with the wall in front of us. Heel is towards the wall behind us. You're going to make a decision on this left leg. Do you want to bring it out a little bit further, or do you want to keep it right where it is, because it probably has moved a little bit from when we first started? And then we're going to take those left toes towards the left wall. We're going to check to make sure heel and heel or heel and arch are lined up. My preference is heel to arch, but you're going to do what feels best for you. And then from there, we're going to bend that knee. We're going to stack that knee right above the ankle. Now, sometimes when we bend the knee and we stack the knee wants to move towards kind of the direction of the big toe. What we want to do, if possible, is think about the knee, instead of moving towards the right toe, kind of move it towards the left toe. Like that's where the energy should be. And you should feel a difference, just a small shift when you make that adjustment. When you feel ready, we're going to bring the arms to T-shape. Shoulder blades are together. You can do that by rolling your shoulders up, bringing them down like they're going in your back pocket. And then all we're doing is looking towards those left fingertips. And we're going to remember to breathe. We're not holding the breath. Next exhale, maybe bring those hips down just a little bit further. From here, we're going to find that reverse warrior. Take that right arm around the body. Take a breath in. Exhale, bringing the left fingertips towards the right wall. When you're ready, we're going to make our way back into Warrior Two. Go through all of the little things just to feel strong. When you're ready, on your next inhale, we're going to straighten that front knee, bring fingertips together. Exhale, Warrior Two. Think about the energy of that knee pointed towards that left pinky toe. Inhale up. Exhale, release. Once more, inhale. exhale. From here, we're going to make our way into our triangle. We're going to straighten the front knee. And then on the exhale, we're going to bring the right arm up, left arm comes down. Same thing as before. Think about shoulder stacked over shoulder. Bottom hand can be wherever feels best for you. Same thing as that lifted right hand. You can have that hand on the hip if that feels better to you. And then all we're doing is breathing. When you feel ready, we're going to take that lifted right hand. We're going to bring it behind the body, and then we're going to make our way into reverse triangle. Bringing that left arm up and over. On your next exhale, make your way back into your warrior two. Take your time to arrive. Take a breath in. Exhale into your extended side angle. And same thing if you want to deepen here. Maybe turn heart towards the sky. Maybe look past that bicep, maybe not. Next exhale, warrior two. I can't remember if we did one more reverse warrior. I think we did. So let's go ahead and bring that left arm up and drop that right hand. I think we did. And that left knee is still stacked. And then when you're ready, make your way back into warrior two. And then from warrior two, we're going to make our way into that star pose. That's where toes are pointed out, maybe heels have come a little closer. Bring the arms up. And then on your exhale, we're going to squat down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring your hands down to your sides. We're going to just walk those feet a little closer together. I just want you to notice what you notice here. Do you feel a little lighter, a little stronger? Do you feel no difference whatsoever? Always just observing, trying to focus like, oh, is my, do I notice anything? It's just noticing. So often, kind of like I said at the beginning of the practice, we're just moving from one thought to the next thought, to the next thought, to the next thought, right? With like our to-do list, but just staying present with your body, with your breath, and finding some gratitude just for that moment. Now in yoga, we traditionally set an intention for our practice, and I want you to set an intention now. Traditionally, we would have done that at the beginning, but maybe like that intention is based on gratitude. Gratitude for these bodies, right? Gratitude for this day, just being thankful. Now I say that right as we're going to segue into doing some chair poses. You're going to be like, I don't know how thankful I am now. I want you to, if you don't do a lot of yoga, I want your feet to be about hip distance apart. And the way that we know if our feet are hip distance apart, ideally you would be able to put one or two fists in between the toe mounds, right? So just kind of look at it like that. Now, if for balance issues, you do feel like you need it to be further away, you can do that. It's probably just not going to feel that great. I mean, chair pose in and of itself doesn't necessarily feel great, but just that might make it feel a little bit worse. So feet closer together is going to be better. If you feel like, I love doing yoga, I love doing chair pose, you can bring your feet close together so they're touching sides of the feet. That's going to bring a deeper challenge into what we're doing. Now when you're ready, on your inhale, let's bring our arms all the way up. And then on our exhale, we're going to bend our knees and we're going to bring our hips down. Now, once we get into this, you're going to start to feel this in your quads, obviously, but you're also going to feel it in your shoulders. Let's start by bringing our hands to prayer position. Now, from prayer position, I want you to think about rolling the shoulder blades together. So kind of rolling your shoulders back, and you're going to feel that probably in your quads a little bit more. And we're just going to be here for 3, for 2, for 1. On your inhale, reach all the way up. On your exhale, fold forward. So hinge at the hips, bring your hands down, look towards the wall behind you. You'll feel this in your hamstrings anytime we're in a fold. That's where we feel it. So feel free to bend the knees if necessary. Don't hesitate to do that. On your inhale, halfway lift. On your exhale, fold. Bend your knees, inhale, roll all the way back up. On your exhale, again, we're gonna sit into that chair pose. So you're gonna either bring hands to prayer position or you're gonna leave biceps in line with the ears. You're gonna look maybe about, I don't know, like eight, I don't know what I was gonna say, 8 inches, 8 feet. You're gonna look past the top of your mat or maybe just right at the top of your mat. You're gonna bring your hips down just a little bit more. Bring those shoulders back just a smidge more. We're here for 3, 2, 1. You're gonna fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna roll all the way back up into our upward salute. Let all the blood come back down. And then on your exhale, bring your hands to your sides. From here, we're gonna move into a warrior 1 pose. From warrior 1, we're gonna go into another variation of triangle, but we're also gonna come into what's called pyramid. Pyramid, you're gonna feel that a whole bunch in the back of your hamstrings. So if those feel tight, you're gonna do less, right? That's what the whole goal is. So what I want you to do is now let's just kind of stand at the top of our mat. We wanna make sure that we have some space behind us. And we want our hips and our shoulders stacked over one another, but neutral. So ideally, we don't want like the shoulder, like right shoulder or left shoulder kind of coming forward. Instead, try to bring everything to a neutral plane. And then when you feel ready, we're gonna start with our right leg. And we're gonna step our right leg back to a 45-degree angle. Before we do that, when we were in warrior 2 and the toes were pointed directly towards the wall in front of us and heel was directly to the wall behind us, that's a 90-degree angle. We want to go half of that, 45 degrees. So that means that those toes are going to point kind of in the direction of where the 2 walls meet, that corner right there. That's kind of what we're going for. Now, when we do that, that sensation might not feel great based on our anatomy. Just readjust as necessary, but ideally, we're closer to 45 than we are to 90. So maybe you're somewhere in like that 60-degree or 70-degree range. But again, just do what feels best for you. I'm gonna step back in just a moment. When you're ready, if you haven't already done it, right comes back 45-degree angle. From here, my left knee is already coming into a bit of a bend, but I'm going to bend it a little bit more. I want that knee to be stacked right over that left ankle. So I should be able to see my toes, but not the entirety of the top of my foot. Same thing as warrior 2. Instead of having that left knee pointed towards the big toe, think about the energy moving towards that pinky toe. You'll feel that right away in your body. Now, before it was heel to heel or heel to arch. Warrior 1 is heel to heel. So we want to look down, make sure that our feet are lined up just as they should. And then from there, here's where we're going to start to feel this a lot. A lot of times when people in Warrior 1, they're like, well, I don't really feel that in my back leg. This is where it makes a difference. When I stepped that right foot back, my right hip went with it. What I want to do is remember how we started, everything was neutral, that neutral plane. That's what we're going for again. So this right hip is going to move in the direction of that wall that's in front of us. That left hip is just going to naturally come back so that the hips start to be more in line. Remember, we're going to keep this front left knee bent. At this point, you should feel this in the back of that right leg. Now, ideally, we're going to stack shoulders over the hips, kind of just like we did, so that nice even plane. You'll hear me say often, like imagine like an invisible rope in the front of the right hip and the left hip are both touching that rope. Same thing for the shoulder. Now from here, if this is enough, because maybe you're doing this and you haven't ever really been in this position where you're really feeling it a lot in this back leg, you can bring your hands onto your hips. That is perfectly accessible or acceptable. Or if you want, traditionally, we would bring our arms up. So when we bring our arms up, shoulders start to come up towards the ears, but we want to drag those shoulders down just like before, like we're putting them in our back pocket. You want to keep the energy of the hands. So no loosey-goosey hands here. Turn the palms towards one another, but feel like the separation of the fingers, like you're really stretching the fingertips. And then all we're doing is breathing. One more breath. Press into your feet. From here, let's take the hands behind the body. Interlace the fingers. Maybe point your fingers are out, thumbs are crossed. Roll your shoulder blades together. Take a breath in. On your exhale, send those pointer fingers towards that back heel. Maybe you look up. You absolutely don't need to do that, but keep that left knee stacked. On your exhale, we're gonna hinge forward. We're gonna bring that left elbow down to, or that left shoulder towards that left knee. We're gonna lift the hands away from our back. They might move a centimeter, they might not move at all. Maybe pointer fingers are pointed towards the ceiling. Maybe you're looking towards that back right heel. And then pressing into your feet. We're gonna undo that. Let the feet be strong on the mat. Bring your shoulders up, release the arms. From here, same thing with the hands. Palms together, pointer fingers are out, thumbs are crossed. Reverse the thumbs. We're gonna straighten the front knee, but we're not locking it. Inhale, you're gonna feel a little bit taller. You're gonna start to feel the spine just lengthening as the pointer fingers lift up towards the sky, and you're gonna keep biceps in line with the ears. If it's too much, you're gonna have your hands on your hips. If hands are on the hips, shoulder blades are together. Inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, hinging at the hips again. You're gonna either draw a line down the wall in front of you until fingers come down to the earth or to a block, or you're gonna keep your hands on your hips and you're just gonna lean forward. Think about bringing belly button to the back of the spine, and you're gonna land wherever you land. Now, if hands landed on the earth or on a block, there is a tendency to wanna like tighten up because you're feeling this in that back hamstring, that front left hamstring. Just give yourself permission to exhale. Soften here. Don't clench the breath, don't clench the jaw. And the body needs about 5 rounds of breath to create a little bit more space. So make sure that you're breathing. Next breath in, think about that halfway lift, that nice flat back. Exhale, fold just a little bit further. Now, depending on your practice, maybe start to walk the hands towards that back foot. Maybe you grab hold of that calf as you bring the forehead towards the shin. You're just gonna do what feels best for your body. Maybe you haven't moved, maybe you've backed out of this. Do what feels best to you. And now from here, if hands are on the earth, if you are in that position where your hands are on the hips, bring yourself back up, maybe come back into warrior 2 where you're opening and closing the arms with that straight leg, if that felt good to you before. If you're in more of a traditional pyramid pose, we're gonna bring that left hand to the inside of that left foot, and then we're gonna bring that right arm up. So again, coming into triangle. Think about shoulder over shoulder. Think about where your gaze should be. Remember that bottom hand can be on a block. And then we're going to add on to this just a little bit more. On your inhale, bring that right hand all the way down. Now on your exhale, you're going to bring the left arm up, coming into revolve triangle. Remember to breathe. There is a tendency to not want to breathe here. Make sure you're breathing. When you're ready, bring that left hand down, stack that left knee over the ankle, make your way back up, press into the feet, come back into warrior one. On your exhale, bring your hands down wherever you're at. We're going to step again back to the top of the mat. And then from here, you're either just going to stand in gratitude, or maybe you do that lifting of the hands for your upward salute, folding forward, halfway lift, fold, and then come back up. Whatever feels best to you. But you'll join us, and we're just going to breathe. Maybe the breath feels different than when we began. Maybe it doesn't. Again, just observing, coming to that place of gratitude. We're going to do those same things on the opposite side. When you're ready, we're going to take that left foot back to that 45-degree angle. Take your time to set up. Stack that front knee. Check heel to heel alignment. Even out your hips and your shoulders. When you feel ready, maybe arms are up or maybe hands are on the hips, whatever feels better to you. And then all we're doing is breathing. We're pressing into that back heel, that left heel. And then all we're doing is taking 3 mindful breaths. Inhale, hands come behind the body. Interlace the fingers, pointer fingers are out, thumbs are crossed. Roll the shoulder blades together. Take a breath in. Exhale, point those fingers towards the heel. Maybe look up, front knee stays bent. Inhale, shoulders over the hips. Chin comes back to neutral. Next exhale, hinge at your hips. Take that right shoulder in towards that right knee. Lift those fingers away, even if it's just a centimeter or a millimeter. Look towards that back heel if that's accessible. When you're ready, we're going to gently press into those feet. Bring the shoulders back up. We're going to release those arms all the way back up. Again, invisible rope with shoulders and hips. Palms come together, pointer fingers are out. Reverse your thumbs. Inhale, grow, lengthen the spine. Straighten the front knee. And then exhale, we're going to fold into our pyramid pose. This side might feel remarkably different than the first side. Just meet yourself where you're at. Remember to breathe. Take a moment to settle in. Unclenching the jaw. Next exhale, maybe fold a little bit further, maybe you don't. We're going to come back to that more neutral position, kind of that halfway lift back. Take the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Bring that left arm up, stacking shoulders, coming back into triangle. Or again, if hands were on hips, maybe you're coming back into that warrior two where we're opening and closing the arms and straightening that bottom leg. When you're ready, on your inhale, bring that left hand down. On your exhale, bring that right arm up. When you're ready, bring that right hand down. Stack that front knee, press your feet into the earth, rise all the way back up. Land in your strong warrior one, moving shoulders and hips in line, front knee is stacked, arms and hands are active. And then when you feel ready, we're going to take that left foot, step it forward, and then you're going to either find that little fold and halfway lift and upward salute, or you're just going to stand in a mountain pose and just breathe. And you're coming back to that intention. On your inhale, arms come up. On your exhale, we're going to sit down into our chair pose. We're going to bring our arms out long in front of us. Palms are going to face the earth. And then we're going to roll those shoulder blades together. And we're going to stay here for 3, for 2, for 1. We're going to fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're going to rise all the way back up. On your exhale, bring your hands to your sides, and all we're going to do is breathe. We're going to come into chair pose again in a moment. We're going to add on to it. So less is more, depending on your practice. If the brain is telling you, I want to go further because I feel like that's encouraging and I feel empowered by doing so, then I'm going to invite you into one more kind of modification, kind of moving upward though. On your inhale, hands come up. On your exhale, sit down into your chair. Bring your arms down, shoulder blades together. From here, we're going to lift our heels off of the earth. We're going to bring our hips down just a smidge more. We're going to be here for 3, for 2, for 1. Fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Rise all the way back up. Upward salute, let the blood come back down. Exhale, come back into your mountain pose, your standing pose. Come back to your breath. We're here for about 3, maybe 5 rounds of breath here. When you're ready, take your hands to your sides. Let's widen the feet just a little bit more. We're just going to work on the shoulders just a smidge before we wind down our practice completely. On your inhale, bring your arms up towards your sky. Exhale, bring them down long in front of you. Palms are facing one another. We're going to take our left arm, wrap it across the body, hook either the tricep or that left elbow area with the right arm. So you're going to feel this in that left shoulder. If it feels like it's too much, just bring that right elbow to more of a neutral center position. When you're ready, gently back out of that, bring the arms back up. On your exhale, let's bend that left elbow. Take that right hand, maybe just right on top of that left elbow, letting those left fingertips kind of just be in line with the spine if that's accessible. Bring the shoulders over the hips if that's accessible. If you want a deeper stretch here, you can take your right arm, swing it behind you, bend the elbows, and then maybe fingers find one another. Maybe they don't, so that just depends on your practice. If fingers are finding one another, try not to bring the chin to the chest. Try to keep the chin lifted, even if that means that fingers are further away from one another. We're here for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently release, arms come up. Exhale, bring those arms out long in front of you. Take a breath in, and on your next exhale, we're gonna wrap the right arm across the body, hook it with the left, adjust that left elbow wherever it needs to be. When you're ready, we're gonna gently release back out of that. Arms come up. Exhale, we're gonna bend that right elbow. Left hand is on top of that elbow, fingertips towards the spine. Maybe we're gonna reach that right hand behind it. I can tell you right now, I'm mirroring, but this shoulder definitely has less range of motion than the other, so that's totally normal. Hands don't have to connect. You can hold onto the back of your shirt. Maybe hand grabs the hair, like without pulling the hair, but just maybe kind of holds onto the hair depending on the length of the hair, whatever feels best to you. But again, we're trying to keep shoulder blades together. That's what's gonna allow a little bit more stretching in this left shoulder. Chin is gonna stay neutral. And wherever you're at, we're here for 3, for 2, for 1. We're gonna gently release. Exhale, bring your hands back down. We're gonna wrap the arms around us. We're gonna bend the elbows, and we're just gonna wrap the hands so that hands are moving either towards the elbows or they're just resting on the forearms, or depending on your practice, maybe hands are on wrists, just depending on wherever you're at. Let them just naturally be there. And then maybe hands just walk a little closer towards those elbows. If they were already on the elbows, maybe they're reaching towards the triceps. Now I want you to think about your left hand. Where is your left hand placed right now? So for me, my left hand is placed right on top of my right forearm, like my pointer finger is kind of pointing towards the bicep. You're just gonna release your hands, go all the way up. Exhale, bring the hands down. We're gonna, again, this time, let the right, or for me, that hand's gonna be on the bottom part of the forearm rather than kind of where it was. So just kind of readjusting. We're just here for just another moment. And then when you're ready, gently release. Bring your hands by your sides. Come back to a standing position. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a whole bunch, torso's on your thighs. Maybe grab hold of opposite elbows, maybe sway back and forth. Feet can become a little bit wider here if that feels better to you. And our final pose is going to be our Shavasana. We're going to come into a standing resting pose. When you're ready, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands come to your side. You can come to a seated position, a reclined position, or you can be in a standing position. Eyes are at a soft gaze here. And coming back to your breath. Release the jaw, release the shoulders. And then drawing to mind the intention that you set for your practice today. Finding gratitude for this beautiful gift of breath, this beautiful gift of life, this new day, and this new opportunity. And gently bringing movement to your fingers and to your toes. It's always an honor, a blessing, a joy, and a privilege to guide you in your yoga journey.